Part 1, the biological trap. Your brain is biologically wired to lie to you. It evolved to understand linear threats. A lion runs at you. You run away, you throw a spear, it hits the target. Straight lines, simple cause and effect. But the modern world isn't linear. It's exponential. It is chaotic. And trusting your Stone Age brain to navigate a complex economy is not just naive. It is the fastest way to fail. We are told that life is a vending machine. You put in the hard work coin, you press the consistency button, and boom, success falls into the tray. It's a lie. The uncomfortable truth is that you are one rounding error away from being a billionaire, or losing everything. This isn't about motivation, this is math. It's time to hand you the manual for the one thing your brain wasn't built to understand: chaos. Part 2, the glitch in the matrix. To understand why your life feels so unpredictable, we have to go back to 1963. Meet Edward Lorenz. He's a professor at MIT, a serious guy trying to do something seemingly impossible: predict the weather using computer code. Lorenz has this massive algorithm running on a clunky machine. One day, he wants to recheck a forecast. But instead of running the whole simulation from the start, he decides to cut to the chase. He grabs a number from the middle of the printout and types it back in to save time. Here's the catch. The computer stored the number as 0.506127. But to save space on the paper, Lorenz just typed 0.506. He rounded off a fraction of a fraction, a difference smaller than a flap of a mosquito's wing. He went to get a coffee, expecting the result to be roughly the same. When he came back, the graph didn't just change a little, it was a completely different world. It was the difference between a sunny day in Miami and a blizzard in New York. Lorenz had just discovered the butterfly effect. You've heard the cliche. A butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil and causes a tornado in Texas. But most people get this wrong. They think it's poetic. It is not poetic. It is a warning about sensitive dependence on initial conditions. In a non-linear system, which, by the way, is exactly what your life is, tiny input changes don't result in tiny output changes. They result in disproportionate, explosive outcomes. And this is where our brains short circuit. We love to rationalize the past. You look at your boss and think, he became the director because he worked hard. No, he became the director because he worked hard, and he happened to be in the elevator with the CEO on a Tuesday morning when the CEO was in a good mood. If he had taken the stairs, he's still a middle manager. This concept is called the sand pile effect. You add grain after grain, nothing happens, it's linear. Until you add one single grain and the whole structure collapses. Was it that one grain's fault? No, it was the instability of the whole system. That is non-linearity. And if you try to live a linear life, planning every step, expecting fair returns, in a non-linear world, you are going to get crushed by the avalanche. Part 3, the silent graveyard or survivorship bias. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: toxic productivity. You go on LinkedIn or YouTube and you see a founder saying, "I woke up at 5 a.m., I ignored the haters, I trusted my gut. That's why I'm rich." This is what Nassim Taleb calls being fooled by randomness. We look at the winner and write a history that rationalizes their win. This is the narrative fallacy. Let's play a game called The Audition. Imagine a room full of actors in Los Angeles, 1,000 of them. They all wake up at 5 a.m., they all work hard, they all have talent, but the casting director had a bad tuna sandwich for lunch, is in a grumpy mood, and picks the guy in the blue shirt because it reminds him of his brother. That guy gets the role. The movie becomes a hit. He becomes a star. He writes a bestseller called How Blue Shirts and Hard Work Made Me Famous. Meanwhile, the other 999 actors who worked just as hard are serving lattes at Starbucks. Success is not just a ladder, it's a spiral. The winner gets resources, better networks, and more chances. A positive feedback loop. The losers fade into obscurity. We need to look at the hidden history of the idols we worship. Let's take the two gods of tech, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. The story we're sold? Bill Gates was a genius coder who dropped out of Harvard, took a risk, and built an empire in a garage. The chaos theory reality. Bill Gates was brilliant, yes. But let's look at the initial conditions of his formula. He was born into a wealthy family that encouraged curiosity. He went to Lakeside School, one of the only schools in the entire world that had a teletype computer terminal in 1968. He had thousands of hours of coding practice before most college professors even saw a computer. His mother, Mary Gates, sat on a board with the CEO of IBM. She personally pitched Microsoft to him. If Bill is born 5 years later, no Microsoft. If he goes to a different high school, no coding practice. If his mom doesn't know the IBM guy, no contract. This isn't to say he didn't work hard. It's to say that his hard work was multiplied by a massive chaos multiplier that 99.9% of the planet didn't have. Same with Jobs, adopted into a stable family in Silicon Valley. His neighbor worked at HP. He got early access to tech. He met Steve Wozniak, the actual engineering genius, purely by geographical chance. And when Apple needed money, Mike Markkula, a retired millionaire, just happened to step in. This is the uncomfortable truth. Success equals talent plus hard work plus positive chaos. Most people ignore the third variable, and that is why they fail. Part 4, the fractal of your life. So, is it all just luck? Is this video just me telling you that nothing matters? No, that's a loser's mindset. Chaos theory doesn't just tell us the problem, and it gives us the solution. It's called a fractal. This is the Mandelbrot set. It looks complex, right? Infinite shapes, beautiful spirals, but it's generated by a remarkably simple formula. You take a number, square it, add a constant, and feed the result back into the beginning, over and over, billions of times. It's a feedback loop. Your life is a fractal. You cannot control the final picture. That's too complex. There are too many variables, the weather, the economy, who you meet in an elevator. But you can control the formula that you iterate every single day. If your formula, your daily habits, your attitude, your skills, is slightly off, even by 0.506, the feedback loop amplifies that error over 10 years, and your life spirals into disaster. If your formula is solid, the feedback loop creates a beautiful, stable structure, even in a chaotic world. This brings us to the concept of the strange attractor. In a chaotic system, everything looks messy. But if you observe it long enough, you see the system stabilizes around a specific shape. That shape is the attractor. In your life, the strange attractor isn't a rigid goal like, I will be a CEO by 30. Rigid plans break in chaos. Your attractor is your values and skills. If you focus on being high value, reliable, and curious, your life will stabilize around success, even if you can't predict exactly what that success looks like. You don't aim for the tornado. You build a house that can withstand the wind. Part 5, hacking luck. So we know the world is nonlinear. We know strict plans are fragile. How do we actually use this to win? We need to reverse engineer luck. We need to create our own tornadoes. Here are the 3 laws of applied chaos. Rule number 1, increase your wing flaps. Australian researchers studied career paths for 10 years. They found that up to 82% of career success is the result of unplanned events. A chance meeting at a bar, a random book recommendation, a cold email sent at 2 a.m. If you stay in your room planning, your luck surface area is 0. You need to increase the number of wing flaps. Talk to strangers. Post that content. Go to that weird conference. Every interaction is a potential butterfly that could start a hurricane of opportunity. It's a numbers game. It's probability, not magic. Rule number 2, convexity or the barbell strategy. Nassim Taleb talks about antifragility. You want to be in a position where mistakes cost you little, but wins give you huge rewards. This is called convexity. Scrolling TikTok for 3 hours, high cost, zero reward. That's a bad trade. Writing cold emails to people you admire, low cost, unlimited upside. Invest your time in things that have a butterfly effect potential. Stop doing linear work expecting exponential results. Rule number 3, the preparation paradox. The philosopher Seneca said it 2,000 years ago. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Bill Gates got lucky with the IBM meeting, but if he didn't know how to code, that meeting would have been a waste of time. He was ready to be lucky. You can't control when the opportunity comes, that's the chaos. But you can control if you are ready when it knocks. That's the order. Successful people aren't just lucky. They are obsessively prepared for luck. They keep their eyes open. Jordan Peterson wrote that we always have 1 foot in order and 1 foot in chaos. Too much order and you suffocate. You become rigid, boring, and fragile. Too much chaos and you drown. You become anxious and lost. The mistake we make is thinking we can eliminate the chaos. We think if we just buy the right planner, wake up early enough, and follow the gurus, we can force the universe to submit. You can't. The universe is wild, non-linear, and beautifully random. But here's the good news. Because the world is chaotic, nothing is set in stone. Your past doesn't determine your future. Because non-linear systems can change direction instantly with just one new input, one new skill, one new handshake, one new idea. That could be your grain of sand. That could be your wing flap. So, stop worrying about the 5-year plan. It's going to fail anyway. Focus on the formula you run today. Make it a good one. And let the chaos take you where you need to go. Stay anti-fragile.